Alright, apparently I can't continue outside since these creepers just won't back the fuck off. And I'm not trying to actually put it out there like that just because, you know, trying to talk about, like, you know, my experiences, my perspective, but I'm not really, like, trying to put nobody on blast like that either. But I mean, next time I'll just fucking put it on camera. I don't give a fuck. I'm really tired of this shit. Anyway, it's not like, ooh, I'm so scared. Whatever. Or like after you put somebody through something so long, like they get kind of really used to it. So whatever. It's like, what the fuck more can you do? God damn. That's not a challenge. That's just like, okay, nothing else has really worked past a certain point, and like, really, come on, just like stop hurting. Apparently not though. So anyhow, narcissistic views. So um yeah. So anyway, so when you grow up, let's say, in a, let's say maybe a toxic area or maybe the family or something like that, um, you become accustomed to certain narcissistic traits. Now, chances are you might become narcissistic yourself, a narcissist. However, that does not mean that it is factual. Um, you could go the other way, you know, but you may still pick up narcissistic traits until you learn to identify and separate yourself from that. Which I have to say, even for myself, after I got away from that whole scenario and I'd been affected by that severely for a good solid, let's say, year, um, I was, I mean, yeah, of course, I was like relieved to be away, but at the same time, like, I know, like, it was pointed out to me that maybe I had picked up some narcissistic traits myself, and I would say to a degree, I I could see what was being pointed out to me, so I took a step back from that and really thought about like what the hell. And yeah, it's something I noticed with people when they're around somebody who's narcissistic. They pick up those traits a bit, and it's almost like you can't help it. It's like contagious, you know. It becomes a contagion to you, and you have to really be very self conscious of that and how you then maybe continue to project yourself onto others because it is an epidemic, really and truly. So those who recognize it, like, have to also recognize healing from it and not spreading it, because really and truly it is something that you can become infected with trait wise. Not to say that you'll become a narcissist necessarily, but definitely you could take on those traits, at least in the beginning. And I think that that's huge to really make note of. It's really important, because it's not an easy thing to one see, but then to, like, make active change about, especially if you don't recognize it. um, because at that point it's like hurt people kind of crap or whatever. And as much as I hate the way that sounds, or hate that saying even, it's the truth. So it's really something to consider, I suppose, because I mean, it affected me specifically, and I'm not even like that at all. But I mean, after enduring so much, and I'm talking about to levels of like having black eyes, being physically abused, having a knife pulled onto my leg where I was ready to jump out of my own car on the freeway, um, and like basically held against my will, forced to do things I didn't want to do. Um, just there's a lot that and it was really, really extensive. I mean, the abuse was outrageous, where it was verbal abuse on the regular, and I mean, putting me in a state like. And here's one thing to look out for is somebody's putting you in a state where you feel like you're walking on eggshells, like you cannot say certain things, you cannot do certain things without putting yourself in a position where you're gonna end up like upsetting the other person to where they're gonna rage the fuck out on you, and you feel like, oh shit, especially if they're violent. Yeah, that's all bad. Get the fuck away. There's no winning with a narcissist, by the way. A narcissist is a narcissist is a narcissist is a narcissist. There's no other way to put that, because they will not get themselves up from that state. They cannot get themselves up from that state. And if anything, they can act. I'll give you that. Some of them are very good actors. They're amazing actors. It's really scary, actually. Um, I hate the idea of that, because I always am the person to think like maybe they're in there somewhere, you know, maybe I can help them. No, that's empath narcissist dynamic, and that's all bad. Just get the fuck away. And it's really hard, especially when like you become like attached on some level, even as a friend, just as a human, whatever relationship. It doesn't matter what level. If you become attached on any level, that becomes really difficult. And if it's a family member, oh my god, forget it. It's even more difficult. Um, Now, if you can also recognize that and get away from it, but it's not easy. It's really not easy. But I mean, in some circumstances, which is I believe where I was headed, which I mean I'm really grateful the fact that I got away from it when I did, because it was just getting progressively worse. And by worse I mean like life threatening. I was literally getting scared for my life, where I thought I was going to be killed soon. The narcissistic rage would just increase significantly each time there was something that pissed him the fuck off, and a lot of times it would be shit in his own head. So, I mean, and like even to the point where like doing something to me and me crying, and me crying was annoying. So like, let me shove a blanket in your mouth to shut you up, or let me threaten you by saying I'm gonna chop your ankles off or break them so you can't run away, because I was a runner. I was a runner. I mean, I literally stole my own car back because I took the keys from my car, and I couldn't get them back. And I was stuck like doing whatever the fuck he wanted. I got left out walking all night before it even in LA in the rain the whole night, and it was my car. Like what the fuck? And that sounds like stupid. Like what a lame. Why would you let anybody? I mean, abuse is a tricky thing, because when you think that somebody could be trusted, when you think somebody's your friend, when you think somebody that cares about you, and then you start to see that they don't give a fuck about you and they're using you and you're basically a joke to them, then you're disposable. That's when you start to see like, what the fuck am I doing? Maybe, hopefully, theoretically speaking, of course. Um, some people don't see it though, and they keep going until something happens to them. It's sad to say, but it's the truth. Um, so again, well, I'm kind of talking about this because I've noticed like there's a lot of people who are being affected in some way or another by this shit, because there's a lot of people who have become infected with this narcissism, or at least the traits of, and people should really be aware of what the hell they're dealing with, because this is something that I've experienced very deeply, and this is not just by one person. This is one example of one person. I could say several significant examples. This is just one. So, um, yeah, so gaslighting is a huge thing. Gaslighting, um, like a lot of head games, especially when they have other people in on it. Other people in on it, meaning like they dismiss what's going on, they allow it to go on with what's going on. They might be a part of it, they might just dismiss it. Either way, mm-mm, they're part of it if they're not, if they're not being actively like trying to like help you out of it. Because I mean, I even saw a few of his friends that would tell me like they knew they saw what was going on, but they felt like they couldn't say anything. They were scared to say anything. No, I still did. My mouth still did. Of course, that only made it like where I got more and more abusive, worse and worse faster. But I wasn't gonna just keep my mouth shut. I couldn't. Like it was like why wasn't I gonna let somebody just keep doing that shit to me? Not even try to say something. Like, come on, you're already taking everything from me. You know, made me lose like 3 jobs. So just so that like he could say like, oh, you need me. I'm like, no, bitch, no, I didn't. Like, I was fine without you. Like, just because you saw me at a low point doesn't mean like, oh, I needed you. It was just like you saw me at a low point. What the fuck? Didn't mean I was incapable, which is something I was told. Trying to control like, if I was to ever have money, um, be given money, made money, didn't matter. Trying to control my own fucking money and like what I could maybe make, so that way it could be like, well, see, you need me. Sabotage my car, or like leave me in a situation where I had like almost like no gas, so that way like if I was away from him, be like, well, see, because you're not even capable and whatever bullshit. It's like, bitch, please. And then not just that, like I was also helping like build a room with him, and like it's like I became his fucking employee, and he ran me fucking down to nothing. I was seriously so tired all the time because be like do everything he said, and he wanted me to be so fucking exhausted where like he could just do whatever the fuck he wanted, and like I would be too tired to like fight back. I would still try it, but I mean there was times where I was like, I need to knock the fuck out. And just do some really foul shit. They're like really foul shit. and and it was always in there, that love bombing thing, and that wasn't even like to say like relationship wise, because we were never actually technically a couple. He would love bomb me as in like, oh, I care about you, da 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 da. And he like, oh, I care about you as a person. But then like, come to find out, he's talking mad shit about me, making shit up about me to other people. I didn't know that at first. And then I found out because other people would tell me. And I was like, wow, really? I mean, to the point where, let's say, for example, he fucking gave me two black eyes, and he told other people around us that I did to myself, that I was going crazy, and I just started fucking hurting myself, and he was trying to stop me from hurting myself. Because I was crazy, I was losing my mind, and was trying to convince the people that I was losing my mind. So no, I didn't know that right away, and then like to the people would like completely present totally different, like who the fuck I was, how I was, everything about me was completely a different person, and it was sad because I was like, damn, like I've never done anything like that. I would never do that to anybody, and like that's so low, like, and that's really fucked up because like I have a big heart. What the fuck? The reason why I put up with so much was because like when I would be fed up and I'd be like, I'm fucking gone, like he would be like, no, no, I need you, and da 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 da. And I'd be like, oh fuck, man, I don't know if you need help with something, I guess, but like with my dumb ass, like falling for that shit. And then I found out, over, the pattern had emerged pretty strongly, which I already knew, I could see it, but I didn't want to admit it to myself, like that, like this motherfucker's just using you and playing you like a damn idiot. And but the thing is that, like, again, my situation, I was in a hard situation, which he played on really hard, and it forced me to like make a decision at some point eventually to choose myself or to choose possibly dying soon. So eventually I decided like to just choose my damn self and go through the hard time by myself than to allow this motherfucker to be abusive until basically damn pretty much my death, and let it be at that. Which was really difficult, but a lot of gaslighting, meaning, would say one thing and then be like, what are you talking about? Or like, I don't know, just like a lot of fucking head game shit. If you don't know what gaslighting, you can look at the fucking picture. But I mean, I have lots of examples, but honestly, I'm seeing wearing my surroundings right now, so I'm half paying attention to myself. But um, basically, the um, the whole scenario with abuse. Okay, so so money is a huge thing that they try to control with narcissistic tactics, abusive tactics, whatever the fuck. Trying to tell you what you could wear, trying to tell you what you could say, how you can act. It would be telling me like act normal, like you're acting weird around people, like just to, like make me feel a certain way, or try to make me feel like I was like not the right size or whatever the fuck. Like I was just like unattractive. Or like, man, fuck you, I don't care. I mean, I was never focused on that shit anyhow. So like, who cared? But like, he really tried to like drill it into my head so like I could like feel insecure just because he probably felt, well, no, because he did feel insecure, because that's what narcissists are, just people who feel really like insecure and like have like no self confidence. Basically, they have to feel above somebody, like they have more control, more power, more popularity, whatever the case may be. They just have to feel above people, so they have to bring other people down and feel like they have some sense of worth, basically, when it's all false anyhow. So, yeah, it would really put me down on so many levels, and I really had to like dig myself out of that mentally, um, against all odds. I did because seriously, that was not easy. It was so not easy. I mean, that was the hardest um, specific occurrence that I had with a person specifically, where it was really difficult because they played on so basically everything that I was already like at my lowest about, and then I was in a really difficult situation on top of that. And I mean, it was like the most opportune moment to ever brainwash me or kill me, if anybody ever was to. So ever since then, trust me, I'm not scared. If I made it through that shit, trust me, I can make it through anything. I'm not tripping. And I mean, the thing is that like it also helped me realize like, hey, you know what? I'm protected and I'm stronger than you, obviously, because for one thing, nothing ever really happened to me. Like when I would get stranded places, even in LA at night by myself walking around, like nothing happened to me. Like it was seriously like I had something around me that like scared other people or other even animals, because they would like be like tripping on me, like what the fuck. They would like don't mess with her, And like seriously, nothing would even come close to like even cops and shit. Like everybody, like nobody would mess with me. It was like seriously, like there was a fucking monster behind me, like ready to like fucking pounce on anybody who looked at me wrong. Like, and that's when I was like, yeah, I'm protected because that's not normal. But besides that, um, and then, for example, like. if there was like something abusive physically going on, somebody else would see it. It would make him stop. Or like let's say one time we were on the freeway and he put a knife to my leg, and I was seriously ready to jump off the freeway. And then he was like freaking out because he didn't want like that kind of attention on him, you know. But like no, no, no. But then he was like, "But wait till we stop." Da, da, da. Like, and I was just like, "Oh my god!" How I'm thinking in my head, "How the fuck am I gonna get out of this? Like, I don't know how the fuck am I gonna get out of this? Because how the fuck am I gonna jump out now?" And I was trying to, but I really did jump out a few times, but not on the freeway. And of my own car. Okay, question. But I seriously learned how to steal my own car, like, without my keys, just to get my own car back and escape. Which honestly, I felt kind of bad about. No, no, I'm not saying I would do that to anybody else's car, but I learned just how to do that for my own because I needed to take off. I was not gonna leave my car behind because other people would be like, "Well, fuck your car."